Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Bright and early, daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. It's freezing cold here in Florida. It's not supposed to be this cold. I woke up this morning, it was 36 degrees. I think it's risen to 40 degrees now. The sun's starting to come out. That's cold for us. You guys are laughing, you have snow on the ground. This is cold for us. It'll be 70 degrees tomorrow, so all we have to do is survive a day in this freezing Arctic weather. Thank God for seat warmers. Oh, that Mustang I have has leather seats, and those leather seats are cold when you get into it in the morning. I put that seat warmer on and it feels good on the tushy. I should be up in DC right now with my family, my mom's family. They're having a big party this weekend for my grandfather who turned 100 last weekend, but this weekend, this coming weekend, they're having a big giant party. Everybody in the family is flying in, everyone from California, from all over, Colorado, all the places I have family, they're all flying in. I'm not. 15, 16-hour drive. I'm not trying to drive that way all the way up into the snow. They got 6 inches of snow on the ground. It's going to snow another few inches tonight, I think. But one of the big reasons why I'm glad I'm not there is I just heard that everyone up there, because my mom lives next door to my grandfather. Both houses sit next to each other, and they live in a cul-de-sac. So there's a lot of people staying with them. Some people staying in hotels, of course, but the houses are full. Both houses are full. So there was a big argument the other night. I'm not going to say between who, because I do have family that watch my channel, and I'm not trying to put them on blast, but there was a big argument between a husband and a wife in my family, in front of everybody. Everybody heard it. The whole block heard it. My family yells. They like to yell. You're dealing with a bunch of Italians, a bunch of Russians, a bunch of Europeans who yell. That's how they communicate, is they yell. I grew up, that's how we argued, that's how we talked, we yelled. My mom would get to a certain point of frustration, and then that would be that. She's just yelling. She'd just go nuts. And I guess it was a bad enough yelling match. No physical violence, but definitely scared some people in the house where they were like, oh my God. Neither was backing down, and this is how they relate to each other. Now, they've been married for 35 years, and they've never broken up, they've never separated. This is how they get down. Some people are just like that. I'm not like that. When I'm in a relationship, I don't like to get into screaming matches. Everybody argues. You can't avoid arguments. If you're in a relationship and you've never had an argument, me and my babe, we've never argued. That's a weird relationship. I don't think that you would survive very long. That's not a relationship that I would take seriously. I doubt you're going to get married or that you're even really in love. People, they bicker, they argue. I have best friends, ride or die homeboys, guys that I would do 100 years for. My best friend, I'd keep my mouth shut. I'd do 300 years. Even if I didn't do it, just take the fucking charge. I would do anything for this motherfucker. If I got one sandwich left, he gets half of it. Absolutely. And we've argued pretty viciously. That's my best friend in the world. And we've been like, fuck you, man, you know, yelling at each other, all kinds of stuff. So arguments happen, and they're necessary. And you can go watch Jordan Peterson's talks about being agreeable and disagreeable and the psychological backgrounds of people and how that fits into your argument style. He has a whole thing about it. Talks for 3 hours about this stuff. So you can go learn about psychology and why it's more advantageous to be disagreeable. I mean, to a certain degree. Somebody who's too disagreeable is just a jerk. You ever met somebody like that? And anything you say, they're just like, nope. Sometimes kids can be that way. Do you want this? Nope. Do you want that? Nope. I used to have a buddy of mine that all he needed was one beer in him. One beer. And he'd disagree with every single thing you say. He would fight you on anything. You could say, well, it looks like the sky is blue, and he'd say, well, actually, and he'd want to fight you on physics, on why the sky's not blue, and you're stupid. So you're not going to avoid arguments. Those happen. Healthy, good, strong relationships have arguments. But you got to learn how to argue right. You got to stay in control of yourself emotionally. That's the key, at least for men. Women have a hard time doing that. Man, you need to learn how to do that. If you're the type of guy, like my dad was, who explodes, just needs to, like a volcano, just has to explode, you're really hard to be around. I hated that about my dad. It's like, you don't have to bottle this stuff up. If you would have said something last year when this annoyed you, maybe you wouldn't be going through this drama now. And now you're having this breakdown, talking about shit that nobody even knows what the fuck is going on, and bringing up stuff from 6 months ago, because you've been bottling up all this stuff and now you just unload on people. So that happens, and some people are just like that. They're poor communicators. And these poor communicators bottle stuff up, and then they have these explosive confrontations. Because you have to, you can't take it anymore, otherwise they'll die. So they're looking at this choice of, I'm either going to die right now or I'm going to yell and scream. So don't let yourself get to a point like that. And healthy communication means that you say what you feel, and you bring things up when they need to be brought up. You don't avoid confrontation or uncomfortable conversations. You have those, and you have those respectfully, and you stay calm. And if you notice that you're getting irrationally angry, where you want to be abusive, and instead of talking about an issue and looking for a way out of it, you start saying, fuck you, and bringing up the past, maybe you need to just go in another room, separate yourself, and say, you know what, I'm getting a little bit pissed, and why don't we continue this conversation in a couple hours? I'll go for a walk, I'm going to go to the gym, whatever you do, go play some video games, whatever it is that you do. And that way, maybe when you come back to it, you'll be in a better mindset. Have you ever had that where you've exploded in an irrational rage, and then an hour or 2 hours later, maybe 5 minutes later, but sometime later, you come to your senses and realize, I guess I didn't really have to be that way, and maybe I grabbed that baton and ran with it too fast. Maybe I reacted too quickly. I probably could have handled that differently. Hopefully you come to those realizations, and if you're smart enough, you can have those realizations before you have the explosion, and understand who you're dealing with, and understand as a leader, as a man in a relationship, you're a leader, and understand that leaders have goals, and that the goal here is what? To move forward with the relationship, to move forward with what's going on, to solve this particular problem. But a solution is the goal. Peace is the goal. So how do we get towards peace? Is yelling and screaming and punching walls going to get you towards peace? Is grabbing her and shaking her until she does what you want, is that going to get you to peace? No, obviously not. And if you think peace is intimidating someone so they run out of the room, fear for their life, while you sit there breathing hard, flaring your nostrils, being like, you damn right, bitch. If you think that's peace, you're a psychopath. You don't deserve a wife or a woman. A leader has to know how to treat their followers, or else the followers will just leave or plot to kill you, like Julius Caesar. So I think it's important to stay stoic, emotionally in control, and to not let yourself get into a rage. Now, some chicks like to do this. They like to fight. They like to scream. Oh, those are the worst ones. If you're in a relationship with a woman who likes to scream and yell, I'm sorry. I've dumped women like that for no other reason that they were abusive when they argued. She's pretty, fun to be around when she's not a bitch, but when she gets mad, I can't take it. I can't take it. And for a guy like me, who also has anger issues, I realize that that's dangerous, because sure, I've never hit a woman, but if I ever did, I'd probably kill her. So I try to learn about somebody in the courtship phase. It's so important to resist the romance, to resist the sex specifically, to not have too much sex. I suggest not have any sex in the initial courtship phases. And that's so difficult because you want to rip her clothes off, and she might want to do that to you too, but it's so important to get to know each other. Because you don't want to find this stuff out 6 months into the relationship, 6 months into the marriage, I should say, and realize, oh, Jesus Christ, I think I need to start shopping around for lawyers. This is probably one of the worst things I've ever done. Who did I marry? And that happens all the time. So get to know her on the front end. Find out her argument styles. Find out if she's some kind of nutter who turns into a banshee when she gets mad. I should tell you the story about Tina, my Mexican girlfriend who didn't know how to speak Spanish. She's such a funny chick, man. I should tell you stories about her. I can't do it now because we're already done with the video, but I'll tell it next time. She was such a wild, insane psycho bitch. And she was violent. Oh my God, fighting and fucking. Mexican who didn't know how to speak a word of Spanish. Grew up in a Mexican household. Stay away from violent, crazy women. And resist from being violent and crazy yourself. This is just my personal opinion.